Welcome back to the PFPod, the podcast where we break down the action, strategy, and excitement of robot competitions like FIRST and beyond.
From last-minute fixes to championship-winning plays, we're here to talk about what makes robotics more than just a competition.
Whether you're a builder, coder, driver, or just love the energy of a great event, we've got stories, insights, and maybe a few battle scars to share.
So let's gear up and dive in and talk about the world of competitive robotics. Well, guys, welcome back for another epi. If you don't remember, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Max.
And we're actually here to talk about the FTC game this year. It is called Decode, and it was released in the beginning of September, and there have been quite a few updates to the way FTC is played, and the actual advancements and whatnot. So we're going to kind of talk about the new updates for the season, what's changing, what's not changing, and then dive into some thoughts on robots.
Awesome. Sounds like a great time, Lindsay. As someone who's not super familiar with FTC, I think this will be a great way to kind of get me up to speed before I kind of go out and actually volunteer this year.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to be volunteering right around the corner here, so we got to make sure we know what we're doing before we dive with both feet in.
So it seems to be there's two main categories of changes here. Advancement in terms of like qualification points, and then also judging and awards.
Yeah, so there's, they actually added new awards, but I first want to kind of talk about advancement, because then it kind of leads into your awards. So basically, if you're familiar with FTC qualification at all, just scrap that from your mind, because they completely changed it up. And they're doing a point system now, so you basically earn points for doing different things. So if that's winning an award, or where you're ranked, or alliance selection, and then you tally up those points. The actual, advancement order is different, because previously it was Inspire first place winner, and then alliance team captain of the winning alliance, and then so on and so forth. But now it's based off of different genres of points. So the first person to advance is just who has the most points across the board at all. And then the second team to advance is the most judged award points. And then the third team to advance is the most playoff awarded points, and things like that. So it's not just straight judged points, or just points in general. It's got some categories to it, but it's interesting. It's different.
Yeah, so it seems to take a little bit some of those elements from FTC and kind of make it more of a point-based system similar to FRC, which I think will be good for allowing students to kind of move through the program without a significant change each time they change levels.
Yeah, it definitely, it mirrors more to the other programs. But I'll also add, I think that this, so I come from a FTC background. I did FTC for 6 years, and my team, and especially me specifically, my skill set was very towards judged awards. And there's definitely previously there was a way that your robot could just be not that great, and you could advance off awards, and we did that because we looked at the system and that was how it was. But I think this looks more to advanced teams that are more all around, more encompassing. I mean, at the end of the day, we are building robots, and so I think when you get into those competitive levels, especially states to worlds and levels, it could be a little disheartening if you see a team who doesn't have as good of a product of robot but did really good outreach versus a team who kind of did both.
Yeah, definitely kind of prioritizing having a well-balanced team is definitely great improvements all around.
Yeah, I think that this is a good change. I mean, it will be adjustment, and there's always issues that you have to work through regardless of what the change is. But I personally think that the Judge Awards might have had a significant amount of power, and I think that now that it makes them more equal, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think it's
makes
cool.
sense to me.
I like the change. I think it's neat.
Excited to see it out in action this year.
Yeah. I think the actual way that they award points is interesting. I was surprised at all the different places they found places to give points on. So obviously you have points just for team awards. So reading it off here, they give different point values for the different Inspire award places. So 60 points for first place, 30 points for second place, and 15 points for third place, because Inspire still is the #1 award. And then for all other awards, whether that's a robot-based award or an outreach-based award, it is 12 points for first place of that award, and then 6 points and 3 points for second and third place of those awards, respectively. which I'm a big fan of because now it puts it previously the award advancement criteria, there had been a lot of strategy, so like connect was placed higher than motivate in the advancement criteria. And so like as a student, we would try to, if we were strong in both categories, we knew that connect would advance before motivate advances, so we would try to highlight more of our connect work even if our motivated work was just as strong. And so I kind of like this idea that all of those awards are equal. It really, I think, is able to better highlight what teams do best.
Yeah, and now you're also receiving points from where you kind of rank at the end of matches, or end of qualifications. And also, the Alliance captain gets the same points as their first pick, which kind of incentivizes kind of joining up a team and not kind of declining that opportunity as well.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. When I read through the game manual, I really liked some of the wording they used. They talked about how, at the end of the day, you can't, this is not the type of sport that, like, one team can just win it all. Like, you have to, there's obviously teamwork and collaboration across the alliances. So they kind of stress the point that, like, why would different teams on an alliance get different point values when they all have to contribute to get that win? And so I really like that philosophy on it as well, because why should the one team get more points than the other team?
Yeah, both robots are out there doing their best, so
yeah,
for sure.
I definitely think. Is that more similar? So I'm not as familiar with the FRC, like, criteria advancement. Is that more similar to what that is like?
Yeah, in FRC, the Alliance captain and first pick get the same amount of points. So
Okay.
It's kind of making it more similar to both levels, allowing, I guess, kind of make that transition more as seamless as possible.
Yeah, because previously, like, points weren't, like, this type of points weren't a thing. I mean, you had ranking points to determine the order that the teams fell in, so for, like, alliance selection and whatnot, but other than that, like, nothing quite like this. Like, if you were an alliance captain and then you selected teams, there wasn't a point value assigned to that. So, it's definitely interesting. And I mean, that will give you...
So I think the first seeded alliance gets 20 points, and then it decreases, so on and so forth. So 21 minus your alliance number is kind of how that scoring system works. So the first gets 20, then 19, 18, so on and so forth.
Interesting. So there is incentive, though, to be that first alliance, not just, like,
for sure, you
second,
definitely get
other
additional
than just
points.
selection. Yeah. Something else that's interesting is qualification points are done on a bell curve. So basically, there will be no team who has 0 points, basically, because the lowest ranked team will get 2 points, the highest ranked team will get 16 points, and then it will be a bell curve distribution. So that's definitely interesting, because you'll have very few teams who get those high levels of points. You'll have very few teams who get the low level points, but you'll have a lot of teams in that mid-range. So I think, I know in the past, teams obviously look at the amount of points that that team had scored throughout the day and, like, kind of, like, looked at their rankings. Now I feel like it kind of evens the playing field in midfield, so you really have to, like, scout more avidly to find, like, who really would be a good fit for your alliance.
For sure. And you're also getting kind of, correct me if I'm reading this wrong, but if you're getting those 16 points for finishing first, and you also get those 20 points for being the captain of Alliance 1, that first overall team is kind of double dipping and getting a lot of those points out of the way early on.
Yeah.
Regardless of their playoff outcome.
That's where I think, that's kind of like I mentioned earlier, I think that this system is better suited to balance both judged awards and robot. When I first read through it, I was like, wow, there's a lot of emphasis on how well your robot does. But then when I thought about it more and compared it to what the previous system was like, I really feel like maybe the last system, like, yeah, it seems like there's a lot more robot points, because when I looked back at it from fresh eyes, I think that the previous system was very award heavy. And so yeah, if you have a good robot, it really will, it's going to help you out a lot.
For sure. And you talk about how those awards are kind of getting weighted less, but there's kind of being assigned and awarded differently now too, with a different kind of new judging protocol.
Yeah. So, well, let's just talk about the awards. They actually added 2 new awards, which is exciting. They actually removed an award and then replaced it with 2 new awards. So the Motivate Award, which has previously been about community outreach and kind of team development, that has been taken away, and we have 2 new awards. We have the Reach Award and the Sustain Award. And the Reach Award is all about introducing and recruiting new people to FIRST. And so to win this award, you must have outreach objectives and show how successful recruitment. And so like something, when I read through this, I was like, oh, if I was a student making my portfolio, the first thing I would think of is, let's get some numbers in there. How many people have you talked to? Get some testimonies of like, oh yeah, this team member joined because they saw this or they did that. So I think that's a cool award. And then the second one that they added is sustain. And so this is more focused on making sure that the team will continue even after the students that are started the team graduate. And so this kind of has like aspects of the previous description from previous years of the Think Award, because the Think Award, you had to provide a team or sustainability plan. And so now that falls really under this award. So I think that's cool, because I think the sustainability plan is a pretty big chunk of something to think through. But there are obviously some requirements on this one, and you have to track your progress on that plan. So not only have the plan, but work towards it. And this is where this award also comes into play for like having team roles. So like if you have a head of software and a head of hardware, they help to develop your skills to be more sustainable as a team.
Awesome. And kind of getting those awards, the judging process is kind of a little bit more formally laid out now, which I think is good, allows for more consistency between event to event. So each judges will ask 2 questions from a question bank to get started, and then follow with the technical, or one of them will be technical, one of them will be non-technical. So that kind of allows the teams to kind of better prepare for knowing exactly what they're kind of going to get.
Yeah, there's definitely been some changes when it comes to judging, mainly looking into like the interview portion. So I know, I started FTC when I was in middle school. Being a middle schooler and not really know what you're walking into in that room is tough. And so I think I feel like a lot of what they did with these slight changes, nothing huge is changing with judging, just some like clarifying details, helps students to be more prepared to know what they're walking into. So more specifically, they've kind of structured the question asking situation a little more structured. So you still have your 5-minute presentation time if you have a presentation prepared, and then judges have a question bank of technical questions and a question bank of non-technical questions. And these are question banks that are publicly accessible by teams. So you can go through and kind of take a little bit of that guesswork out. You can kind of know the types of questions they're going to ask ahead of time. And they're going to ask one non-technical and one technical. And then they'll ask, after they get both of those questions in, follow-up questions. So I think being someone who's been in the judging room, it's hard, if you have like an outreach item, and if you're a strong team and you have both, you have outreach and you got robot, and there's obviously a lot to talk about in like that time period, it can be hard to highlight both. So I think that having set that you'll have a question from both banks is cool.
I also noticed, very similar to a lot of my college syllabuses nowadays, an AI policy made its way into the game manual, game manual. So teams are allowed to use AI to help them write the portfolios as long as they properly cite it, which seems to be the case for a lot of our classes here at Purdue.
I will say like the majority of my classes, they say like, especially my presentation-based classes, they're like, we understand that this is a new resource and it's good to learn how to use it. It's something that is going to be here. I mean, like, computers were a new resource not that long ago, and here we are. We both have computers in front of us. So they're encouraging the use of it. They're just encouraging the use responsibly. So I think this is a good call by FIRST. I feel like sometimes barriers to entry can be hard, and when you're a team and you're just starting out, graphic design is tough. There's no doubt about it. Photoshop is hard. And so I think this is going to help teams be able to have that ability to produce a more polished looking product, and just be more confident in what they're giving the judges. So I think it's cool. I bet there's different opinions, but
well, at the very least, eliminating that gray area, making it clear exactly what the policy is, it just alleviates some of that discrepancy between the different teams.
Yeah, I think that's like the underlying theme when it comes to the changes in judging and stuff. Other than the new awards, I think the things that they highlighted are just small details, just to make the process a little more transparent and people know what they're walking into.
Yeah, I mean, the more they can level the playing field, the better, I think. So
yeah, because I think some of these things were they were just practices of the trade, and so if you are a team that's been around for a while, or you had a mentor who had previous mentoring experience or something like that, then your team would know about, like, oh, this is generally the flow of stuff, or they generally do this or generally do that. But if you're a new team or you're new people, if you're a teacher starting a new team, you're starting from ground zero. How would you know? And so I think this is it's definitely good.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely agree.
All right, now that we have decoded, get it? The new changes to the FTC season, let's dive in, pun from last year, dive in and watch the game animation, and we're going to live react our opinions on the game. And for our audio-only viewers, don't worry, we're going to give you descriptions of what we're feeling about this game.
We also can link the video in our description
yes.
as well, so you can watch it after or before.
First off, let's talk about Decode. I think the vibes on this is cool. Like, it's got this, like, archaeology. It kind of feels like Relic Recovery season. Same vibes to me, which I think is cool. But,
yeah. Well, we're underground right now in some capacity. Dover just drove through a cave, so looking rather cool from the jump.
Alright, so here we go. We got, our regular playing field. Okay, this is cool. They have items in the corners. There's one per alliance. It's got like a little chute here. There's definitely, it's a shooting game, and they're going to shoot into these targets. Of course, the April tags. And it's a wiffle ball game. We got purple and green wiffle balls. We've got some starting on the field for autonomous here.
Lots of groupings of 3. I wonder if that's how many game pieces these teams are able to hold at one time.
I bet, yeah. That's pretty cool. There seems like the autonomous task is the arrangement of the wiffle ball colors. So they're set up in 3s, 2 purple and 1 green. Read the April tags, and then you shoot them into, okay, cool. You shoot them into the target corner triangular prism, and then fill up the rail. And then you can score bonus once the rail's full too.
From a volunteering lens, having to count all those extra points is definitely going to get annoying, I feel. But should be good for those refs and scorers.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Oh, and if the pattern there, so you can score them in a order, you get different points.
I feel like they generally do that, yeah. They have some type of pattern component. Okay, cool. So you can clear the rail and load the, you can load these wiffle balls. I don't know what they're calling the wiffle balls, but you can load them into the robot straight from human player square.
We're going to have to make sure we steal one of these for some of our IM softball practices.
Oh, we need these. We need these. Okay, cool. I like this because it's basically unlimited scoring. You're not limited to the number of items on the field for scoring, which in previous years has definitely been a problem for FTC. Alright, here we're looking at endgame. So I think this is the kicker. The endgame is trying to fit 2 robots in 18 by 18 inch playing cube, but you can go up to 36 or 38 inches tall.
It reminds me a lot of the 2019 FRC game Deep Space Endgame, having to climb up onto that platform, kind of fitting multiple robots in a place multiple robots shouldn't fit, always kind of brings a new challenge.
I think we'll definitely see, like, personally, I hate to admit this, I've actually watched this one. Not live reacting here, but I feel like that we're gonna see robots that from that game that were ramp robots. I think that will be like such a cool item, because you run the risk if you make a robot that's really small, but then the robot, your alliance partner is a big robot and they can't go vertically and you can go vertically. If your robot's too small, then you can't fit around their robot. So there's definitely like a strategy component to it.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of those really high ranked teams kind of build something like ramp or elevator that allows them to kind of take ownership of getting those points regardless of who their alliance partner is.
Yeah. Alright, I pulled up here the scoring. So let's see here. So you get 2 points for creating the pattern on that rail. This is going to be a low scoring game. 10 points for your fully return to base. 5 points for partial return to base. 10 points for fully return to base. And an additional 10 points if 2 robots fully return to base. So if you get both robots fully in base, you get 30 points. Is how I'm reading that.
I also noticed they shifted to 6 game or rank points this year.
Oh, yes, big change also. So for the ranking points, which if you're unfamiliar is how they get it, rank the teams. Sorry, guys. And the ranking points previously have just been 1 for a loss, 2 for a tie, 3 for a tie. No.
2 for a
thank
win,
you.
1 for a tie.
Yeah. 2 for a win, 1 for a tie, and 0 for a loss. And so now they changed it, and you can gain ranking points based off of what you do in the match. So it's like FRC.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of these changes they've been making is kind of make it more similar to FRC, which I think is good for the students kind of progressing through the programs, and it's also good for the volunteers and mentors who often kind of double dip and mentor and volunteer at both levels. Kind of making things more consistent is always a good thing, I think.
Yeah, and I think it adds like a level of complexity to the FTC games, which I think is cool because yeah, there's the progression of kids going from like FLL to FTC to FRC, but for some programs, FTC is all they got. Like if you have limits on your space or size of teams or manufacturing or money, there is nothing else after FTC for them, and so I think like making sure it's fun and competitive and we're doing new stuff is, I think, key too.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I think these ranking points are gonna be really cool because that's something that FTC's never seen before.
It definitely adds an extra strategy element. I know my team in high school often went towards those rank points, and it maybe made us a little bit less worse of a robot in playoffs. But we got plenty of points through awards and kind of doing long qualifications to make it all the way up to the districts champs. So
Yeah,
definitely different strategies of how you kind of want to design your robot for sure.
that's a really good point because you get a lot of points for being ranked highly, and those points do contribute to your. You don't have to win the game per se to be potentially the first advancing team. You just need a lot of points. So this is a whole new strategy ball game now. If I was a student, I would have one heck of a spreadsheet going.
For sure.
That's all I can think about.
So now that we watched the game and looked at the points, we've been a little bit since that actually came out. So we have a few of these robots kind of already out on YouTube. So we're going to watch a video here from Robot in 30 Hours, made up of alumni of 7129 Robo Raiders, and we'll be sure to link them down in the description as well. But let's just kind of do a little bit of live analysis of this robot. I have yet to see this one, have you?
Just briefly, picked out the video, but other than that, no.
Haven't really seen what their thought process is yet, but I'm excited to watch.
I think wiffle balls are fun because we've seen wiffle balls before, but now, now being able to almost rearrange the wiffle balls, is a skill that it's nice to have to help make those patterns. So I'm not sure.
They're teasing us a little bit here. We haven't really seen the robot fully yet, just kind of some small zoomed areas. I did notice a spring-powered mechanism. I don't know if that's their launcher into scoring or what that entails, but I guess we'll see here in a second.
Did they launch the camera?
I don't know, I'm getting a little bit dizzy now.
That was kind of a cool shot, though.
It does look like they have a spring-powered shooting mechanism here. So some sort of catapult system.
It's definitely a catapult system.
Yeah, so it winds down and then it releases after with a spring-powered trigger.
I would not have thought of that. I'm so used to having previous. I guess you can't really control though the way that they fall, like because you get bonus points for being able to manipulate the pattern. Oh, they kind of can. It's not as precise.
Interesting intake mechanism here. It looks like some just pieces of foam wrapped around a roller bar here, so that spins at high speeds and kind of bring those balls into their robot. But
I feel like wiffle balls have a low barrier to entry because there's been so many games with them, especially newer teams. You can do just like YouTube research, and I feel like that is something like to find an effective way. That's something that's I remember playing the I forget what the name of it is, but the one with the foam rings. It was kind of during COVID-ish era, and I remember those were new game pieces, and we were like, how do you intake these things?
And one thing for all these teams out here watching, yes, this catapult is super consistent with no other robots in the field. When they get to their spot, they shoot it. It's about the same every time.
Oh, whoa. Sorry.
No, we'll circle back to what I said. They're climbing now, and they flip up completely 90 degrees.
Oh, that's
allowing
cool.
for another robot to fit in.
but they're gonna get. Wait, can you go back? So they're technically supported. So they're supported by that cube. So they would get 30 points in endgame.
So
because they're 100%. Yeah, look at that.
I haven't read the fine print yet, but do they just have to be touching the tape if they're?
Yeah, so they just have to be like supported by the actual the 18 by 18 box.
Because the outer edge is good.
Yeah, they can if they're like floating outside of it, they're fine.
It looked like they were a little bit over the edge there on the end.
It did. I think you're.
I'm not sure how kind of the rules are there. So it's not the inside square; it's the outside of the thing.
Yeah.
That would just be tough because I feel like in the past.
That's definitely hard to judge if they're like in there or not. But
in the past, a lot of like the FTC rules and first rules in general are like the invisible plane of like don't break the invisible plane,
Mm-hmm.
and so like that's kind of different. Not that it's bad; it's just different that it's not like an invisible plane. It's like you just have to fit in the box.
I would not want to be a referee at these events personally, but it looks super cool. And I was talking about their shooting mechanism earlier. While it's great here in this demonstration, kind of being able to get to their spot and shoot consistently every time with that consistent spring-powered catapult, when there's other robots in the field, they may not be able to get to that exact same distance every time. I'm not sure if they have any variance in the power. I'm kind of hard to see in this video, but I imagine they're limited to kind of where they can actually shoot from, which might kind of lead to some difficulty when actually playing in matches. Obviously, this team is just kind of a robot in 30 hours situation, but something to think about if you're designing your own robot.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like they can control the order that they shoot in. So if I was the designers of this robot, that would be something that I would work towards, is finding a way to like make sure that they would stay in order to get more points.
For sure, yeah.
I like their catapult design though. I've not seen anything like that before, so that's a neat one.
It's definitely very unique and cool. And obviously they put this together in barely a day, so
Yeah.
I respect their ability to get a
I
functioning robot
respect
that
the hustle. Yeah, for
can
sure.
complete all the aspects of the match
Yeah,
in such a short period of time.
I'm very excited to see what teams do with Endgame, because that's just like, that's so new. Like I mentioned the wiffle balls, that's something we've seen, but it's with a different take on the wiffle balls. But this is completely new. I'm excited.
Yeah, especially in those qualification matches, you have no idea who your alliance partner is. So you have to kind of design a mechanism that can work with essentially any robot.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to get those extra 20 points.
Yeah. And I think those 20 points it's 30 actually in Endgame if you get.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're in there already,
Yeah,
regardless.
good
But
point.
yeah, for sure. But that's 20 plus
That's
7
a
balls.
lot of, yeah. It's a pretty significant amount, unless you have a quick shooter. I mean.
Definitely adds up. Also, you get that additional rank point, which is huge
Yes.
for winning
I think
highly
the big
ranked competitions.
rank point
Yeah,
will be big. Because that will literally equate to basically points for advancement at the end of the day.
for sure.
So that's definitely big. Yeah, because previously in the past, where you were ranked, unless you were ranked 1, 2, or 3, or 4 for alliance captains, where you were ranked didn't matter when it came to advancement, because you had to get onto an alliance and then play well. So I think just another way that this new point system is just going to change how teams play the game, basically.
For sure, and it definitely makes it more exciting to be at competitions. Even if you're not one of those top few teams, you still have something to fight for, which I think definitely helps morale for sure.
I think it's going to make it way more fierce. I foresee this. No one's really out of the game, per se.
For sure. I'm super excited to see how it plays out. I know we're going to a few competitions coming up this January, so I'm excited to kind of see all of them in real life.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. We'll, PFP will probably be out volunteering at a couple, so if you see us, feel free to come say hi and share your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, January 31st and February 1st at Battleground Middle School, I believe, are our first ones we're going to go to. I think we'll also be in Greenwood, Indiana as well. So looking forward to those events for sure.
Yeah, can't wait to see what teams do, and it's just going to be a good season. So good luck to all the teams out there. Thanks to all the coaches and mentors, and build some robots.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. PF Party and Such Sweet Sorrow.
We'll see you next time.